Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Embattled war leader Zelensky voiced concerns that scheming Vladimir Putin would flout a limited 30-day ceasefire energy plan imposed after Putin rejected U.S. pleas for a full truce. But deal-making property tycoon Trump responded by suggesting American control of power stations worth billions was the best way to secure them. Zelensky revealed on Wednesday that he had also pleaded for more U.S. air defense missiles to help repel ceaseless Russian attacks, but Trump suggested Europe should supply them. The White House also revealed talks next week in Saudi Arabia would look to push the ceasefire to the Black Sea while declaring peace has never been closer. This comes after the pair spoke for the first time since their disastrous White House spat 3 weeks ago in which Zelensky was berated for being ungrateful for U.S. weapons. Trump adopted a softer tone after talking to the embattled war leader for an hour, less than half the time he spent on a call to Russian tyrant Vladimir Putin a day earlier. They spoke as both Russia and Ukraine accused each other of breaching a limited ceasefire on attacks on power infrastructure agreed on Tuesday. And, despite his concerns, Zelensky was last night reported to have agreed Ukraine would stick to the deal and halt strikes on Russian energy assets. Trump posted after Wednesday's talks, "Just completed a very good telephone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine." Much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. "We are very much on track." Trump added that Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz would be giving more details on any progress made. Zelensky, furious that Trump appears to trust and believe scheming Putin, is believed to have been advised to bury his feelings and flatter the notoriously thin-skinned U.S. president. To extend the 3-year meat-grinder conflict in order to achieve all his war arms, including the ousting of Zelensky. He has so far failed to compromise on any demands and landed a condition that Ukraine be starved of Western weapons supplies during the current, minimal 30-day truce. You can follow our live blog below for all the latest updates. The call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin is scheduled to have begun. The pair were expected to begin talking at 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time as they sort out the future of Ukraine and organize a ceasefire. The call is expected to finish at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. But officials have said the discussion will be as long as it takes. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said there is a certain understanding already between the two sides. Trump, meanwhile, said assets and land in Ukraine would be divided up. At 1:01 p.m., Trump sent out a post on Truth Social attacking a judge who ruled against his administration, suggesting the call may not have started yet. Germany's future Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called on MPs to approve a massive investment plan to counter Russia's war on Europe. The election winner spoke to the Bundestag on Tuesday and said billions should be spent on defense to rearm Germany. He said the plan would be the first major step toward a new European defense community. Merz also said the community could include countries not in the EU, which could be the UK and Norway. He said, "The circumstances are mainly determined by Putin's war of aggression against Europe. It is in fact a war against Europe and not just a war against the territorial integrity of Ukraine." Russia and Elon Musk could work together on getting to Mars, an envoy for Vladimir Putin claims. Kirill Dmitriev says Moscow sees the prospect of working together with the U.S. once tensions ease on the space sector. Dmitriev was named by Putin last month as his special envoy on international economic and investment cooperation. The envoy also said that could mean Russia works directly with Elon Musk and SpaceX and his ambition about flying to Mars ahead of the Trump-Putin call. He said, "The implementation of this proposal could have begun long ago. Every day in wartime is a matter of human lives." For a week now, Putin has been unable to squeeze out yes to the ceasefire proposal. The unconditional ceasefire proposal is essentially about saving lives, allowing diplomats to work on ensuring security and a lasting peace. Pressure is needed to finally make Moscow accept that their war must be brought to an end. Friedrich Merz said that his proposed huge spending boost for defense was needed because of Russian President Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against Europe. He added, "It is a war against Europe and not just a war against the territorial integrity of Ukraine." His statements come as Germany's parliament is set to vote today on a historic increase in defense spending. Mir said Russia's aggression had included cyber attacks and espionage, arson and contract killings, as well as disinformation campaigns that attempt to divide and marginalize the European Union. Mir said the spending boost planned for the armed forces, expected to add up to hundreds of billions of euros in the coming years, is nothing less than the first major step towards a new European defense community. The politician added, "We must become stronger. We must ensure our own security. That is our responsibility. Germany has a leading role to play in this, and I believe we should be prepared to assume this leadership responsibility." The world holds its breath for Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin's chat on the phone, which is mere hours away. Both leaders are expected to discuss the war in Ukraine at great length. Trump believes he has a very good chance of finally convincing Putin to accept a US-led 30-day ceasefire deal that has already received a green light from Kyiv. Putin has still given no clear indication if he is willing to accept a truce deal and has instead raised serious questions over the proposal. So far, he has delayed the ceasefire plan to seemingly extract concessions from Trump. The despot is expected to put up demands in exchange for his approval of a peace deal, which he insists should be long-term. That includes Kyiv's NATO membership, peacekeepers inside Ukraine and territory. The call could end up being a historic chat if both leaders get on the same page and Putin agrees to accept a ceasefire, but that may come at a high cost for Kyiv. Zelensky and other diplomats from Kyiv have not been invited to be a part of the conversation. Trump, who is desperate to crack a deal and stop the bloody war as he once promised, could perhaps agree to some of the demands from Russia if it means a ceasefire deal. He said many elements of a final agreement have been agreed to, but much still remains to be discussed. It is now known that he is already considering to recognize annexed Crimea as Russian territory. The White House also indicated that Trump plans to discuss land, power plants, and dividing up certain assets. In a turn of events, Russia may also not agree to the terms laid out by the US, which Kyiv has already agreed to. Trump is said to be willing to hit Russia with further sanctions if the call does not end well. Either way, there is a high chance Kyiv's fate will be decided based on the discussions of today's call. It remains to be seen if that favors Ukraine and its hero leader Zelensky, or undermines their position ahead of his call with Putin. Trump is considering to recognize annexed Crimea as Russian territory as part of a long-term deal to end the war, two official sources have told Semaphore. U.S. officials have previously suggested that Ukraine may need to make territorial concessions to end the war and make compromises if necessary. Russia invaded Crimea in February 2014 before annexing it, but the world has largely rejected Moscow's claims over the territory. The potential move comes as Trump and Putin are set to chat on the phone today and discuss the fate of Ukraine. The White House has indicated that Trump plans to discuss land, power plants, and dividing up certain assets. But President Zelensky and other diplomats from Kyiv have not been invited to be a part of the conversation. Donald Trump has claimed he saved the lives of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers fighting the Russians inside the Kursk region. He reiterated that Ukrainian troops had